100%. Let me ask you guys this question: can Arch Manning get back into the conversation this last stretch in November through November? Because he's coming off back-to-back 325 plus yard games and three passing touchdown games.
If there's a God in heaven, no. But
his last two games, he's thrown for 674 yards, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, and has ran for another touchdown in his last two games. And that was Mississippi State and Vanderbilt.
I mean, not gonna happen. They play Georgia next, then Arkansas. I mean, Arkansas can put
and then
some
Texas
points
A&M.
on what they need to.
Yeah,
and Texas A&M. No, I don't think he's going to get it. That's 3 teams. But
if he goes out and does this, though, do you think he can get back into the conversation?
All right, I promise I'm going to get you back to the episode, but I have to tell you about our title sponsor, Better. If you haven't yet, download the Better app. Doesn't have a bunch of messy menus, a bunch of stuff, a bunch of clutter. It's really easy. In fact, it's the first real microplay app. So let's say you're watching a game and you think the next pass is going to be an incompletion. You can place something on it right there. Yeah, it's simply that easy. So download the Better app and use code WASHED, WASHED, code WASH, and you're going to get a special offer. Plus, they're always doing a lot of really cool promos, and you don't want to miss them. So download the Better app, use code WASHED.
Well, if he does, then we're talking about Texas in the college football playoff, because if he can do that, then they're winning 3 games that 2 of them they shouldn't win.
Yeah.
Like they should lose against Georgia and they should lose against Alabama. And Arkansas has always played them close traditionally way back when. If he plays outside his mind and puts up those kind of numbers, then you're talking about
and gets them like a top 8 ranking.
Yeah. Now this like, what have you done for me lately? Thing starts to, and the news cycle will be crazy. National media will be all bought in that Arch Manning is the guy. He took a little while to develop through the season. I would hate for that to happen because I think there are quarterbacks like a Ty Simpson
who are like producing all season long.
Yeah, hey, I've kept my head down. Nobody's paying me millions of dollars to put eyeglasses on in a commercial, and I've been over here doing my job. I would hate for that to happen, but I've seen it happen with Heisman voters before.
Yeah.
Where it's all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, look at this guy. I would hate for that to happen. But and speaking of we'll go talk about this now. Speaking of Arch Manning, he at the beginning of the season was being projected, if he came out at the end of this year, as the first quarterback taken off the draft board.
Number 1 overall, I think some people had.
Yep. He is now, according to polls, not picked to be taken in the first 2 rounds if he was to come out. I don't know that he would get taken in the first 3 rounds if you take his name off the back of his jersey and put Jones on the back or something. 6'4", 219, big time arm, mobility. I don't know what he needs to do. I don't know any world why he would want to declare for the NFL draft, other than I know the New Orleans wants him real bad, based on the fact that it feels like they just have spent the entire season trying to figure out how to get the highest draft pick they can possibly get. But I have seen teams take dumber chances on quarterbacks than an Arch Manning. I mean, I saw it with guys that at the college level, I just knew this doesn't translate. And a team will go, yeah, but.
Yeah. NFL head coaches have such big egos. They think they can fix anybody.
Yes.
And then you see quarterbacks like Baker Mayfield or other ones where they're in this meandering process for so many years. And then, and if you can't get it going in like a year to 2 years now, you get traded around till you finally land a home and get some right development in the right environment. How many more times are we going to keep doing this with quarterbacks? We're just going to take a dude his first year getting a start for a D1 school like this just because of his last name. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
that's ridiculous. Give him more time in college. I mean, kids stay in college. I know it sounds crazy to say that, especially coming from a dude in a rock and roll band, but yeah, stay in college. You're going to get paid. You can get paid now, but you're going to get those reps and that time in that I think is still very crucial before you go to that pro level.
I mean, for
Yeah.
every Josh Allen, there's a Sam Rosen, or a Josh Rosen, I should say, that Arizona drafted that was at Stanford, and that no one thought it was working. No one thought Josh Rosen, that's going to work, but something about it, demeanor, arm, something. And you're right. There are two types of NFL coaches. There is the I'm going to believe what I see, and then but I'm the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy that thought that way just lost his job with the Giants. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he let quarterback go away.
I mean, Daniel Jones is having career season.
Yeah, a guy might win an MVP.
Yeah, they're fighting for the
he's
first
an-
overall seed in the AFC in playoffs. It's just crazy.
Him and Baker Mayfield, perfect examples of that
Yeah.
for this season right now.
Yeah, it's those two. It's Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold.
I mean, Mac Jones even has really come into his own, playing in.
Made it a conversation in San Francisco.
Yeah, is there a QB controversy for the 49ers because Mac Jones is now in a system that functions with his quarterbacking ability and stuff? But also
And
at
you
the
got to
same
have the
time,
right system. Because even when he was in New England, I mean,
Yeah.
they made the playoffs that first year because of Josh McDaniels. So, I mean, it reminds me of Louisville, their program right now. I mean, you're seeing them turn heads because of that head coach and the defensive coordinator. Louisville football team, watching them the other night, even though they lost, but the previous games I've watched, they have a championship level defense that can make them go deep into the playoffs. But if Jeff Braun was to go somewhere else without that defensive coordinator, I don't know if that story would still be the same, or if he would have that same success.
yeah. It kind of, thinking about the quarterbacks that immediately get in, because I think Arch when he goes into the league, he will have high expectations because he's going to be a Manning wearing an NFL jersey. He's going to have massive expectations. And I think it's really difficult to live up to those expectations, especially in today's NFL, because fan bases are so impatient now, right? I'm a Denver Broncos fan. Bo Nix just had an absolute stinker on Thursday night against the Raiders. And I have never seen the national conversation and even our own fan base flip on a quarterback as quickly as they have with Bo Nix. And I think back to Josh Allen's first 3 seasons. Josh Allen sucked. He was not a good quarterback when he first got into the league for 3 years. He was a walking turnover, could not rely on him, could not keep the offense moving. It was disgusting football to watch. And it's kind of what you would expect from a guy coming out of Wyoming, going to play in Buffalo in front of, a storied franchise that has been so close to the very top so many times, but haven't quite gotten there. But they were patient with him. He didn't quite meet those expectations when he got into the league, but they were really patient with him, played the long game, and now Josh Allen's coming off of an MVP season, just got married to Haley Steinfeld, and is continuing to play really, really good football outside of dropping that game to the Dolphins this last Sunday. I don't know how that happened, but whatever. So it's going to be one of those things because I still think Arch is going to need to develop. Obviously, no quarterback goes in the NFL and is immediately everything that they're ever going to be. Peyton Manning set the rookie record for interceptions in a single season. Peyton Manning, you ask 100 people, 50 of those people are going to tell you Peyton Manning's the greatest quarterback to ever play the position. Right? He's always in that conversation as one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever do it. Right? It's always him and Tom Brady. Those are the two names that come up all the time. Sprinkle in some Joe Montanas, sprinkle in some Troy Aikmans. There's all kinds of different people have different opinions and stuff. But Peyton Manning was atrocious when he first came into the league, but the Colts believed in him, built around him, made sure that they developed him. And, I'm kind of starting to wonder if that is really all it needs to happen for Arch Manning. And I I agree with Steve. He needs to stay at Texas for another year
But
and
that's
stay in
only
college
one
for
piece
another
of the
season.
puzzle. That's a piece to the whole bigger puzzle problem, if you will, that we need to see more of, not only in college football, but especially the NFL. The whole
Yeah.
development aspect is getting washed away and looked over because of this "what have you done for me lately" business, because of the money and the viewership now that comes in. And I hate it, because you can't help to think, like, I always think about Colt McCoy. What could have happened to him if he went to a better NFL team, had the right investment in him, or other quarterbacks. Some quarterbacks may not get so lucky as Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold,
Yeah.
or Daniel Jones, or even really Mac Jones that we've seen this season. So just you hate it, because as a fan of the game, you want to see the best of the best get to play. But some of the best could be some of the best if they're in the right environments and right situations. Maybe it's an infrastructure issue that we have to address at some point.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think, because what is it, the 2020 quarterback class? Was that Tua and Trevor
Yes.
Lawrence and all those guys? So, yeah, Trevor Lawrence is the only quarterback of that class that received an extension on the same team he's on.
Yeah.
Well, I think Tua just got one.
Well,
if I'm
and
not mistaken. This is a college football show. It's not an NFL show, so I can't tell you that information off the top of my head. But it's weird. Like, it's, there's such a short time frame for if a quarterback's going to do well in the NFL. Teams are going to cut their losses right away. They're not going to sign them to they're going to take their 5th-year option. They're not going to sign them to an extension, and they're just going to let them go. They're going to draft another one and try again. And so with that in mind, I do think that there is a part of quarterbacks need to be more finished, polished products coming out of college. So the advice from all of that, I guess, would be just to say Arch probably should stay one more year with Sark, one more year in Texas, and see how good he can get. See how good he can get at reading defenses. See how good he can get at, calling the right protections, making changes at the line, like all that kind of stuff.
Well, and he played nobody in high school. He
No.
was the most insulated college quarterback we've ever seen. Like whoever, whether it was his dad, his uncles, whatever, did an amazing job of showing college scouts enough to get excited, but they didn't put him in positions for him to not look good. He didn't play in all-star things. He didn't play in, the 7-on-7. You didn't see a bunch of that stuff that came out like you do other ones. What you did see was great mechanics, fantastic mechanics. And that was what everybody saw. You just saw, hey, guy, he's got great mechanics. His last name's Manning. How bad can it be? Was kind of the way I looked at it, because I couldn't pull up anything on YouTube of him playing in some 7-on-7 camp with a bunch of other, 4 and 5 stars and go, well, look what he's doing. That wasn't available, but he has great mechanics. He's probably about, as far as, the throwing a football.
Yeah, the physical attributes are very much there.
He's probably the most perfectly coached kid ever, because he knows exactly how it's supposed to be done. But this is his first time really going up against unbelievable competition. I mean, if he was a high school quarterback at a 5A school in Texas, even though it's still high school football, some of those times you look at some of those rosters, those 5A schools in Texas, that on any given Friday night, there's 15 or 20 kids that are going to play college football on the field. And where he was playing some little 3A school in Mississippi or wherever, not happening.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit, reminds me of kind of the AAU thing that's happened with the NBA, where you can put a kid, you can take him out of high school basketball, you can put him in the right AAU teams, and you can get him a college scholarship. And then when he gets to college, you go, oh my gosh, he is not anywhere close to a developed player.
We saw that with Bronny last season, right? Again, I know it's a college football show, but he played 1 year. Was it UCLA?
USC.
I think
USC.
USC. He played 1 year at USC, goes to the draft. Now he's on the G League.
Yeah. I mean, but
Why, when you could have just stayed in college?
you can do a good job about if you can get a kid in the right position and you show people just enough, they'll take it on. Okay, let's do it.
No, the
But I
answer
look at
is
it's the same thing
nepotism.
as it's the Arch Manning thing. It's his last name. It's LeBron's
Yeah,
son, just
nepotism.
like Arch.
That's the answer, baby.